Hi, welcome to Hidden Struggles. This is Lady C. In my upcoming episode, I'm going to be talking to a dear friend of mine. She faced a blood issue with her child, pioneered full-time for Watchtower, got shunned after walking away, cleaned houses by day, and studied by night. Today, she's an award-winning teacher, married to a therapist, living life on her own terms. She's in our studio today to share her story, and I'd like to welcome Rashana. Rashana, welcome to the program.
Hello, good to see you, Mama C.
It's always a pleasure having you, talking to you, and just catching up on old times. And that's what this episode is all about. Now you're teaching and being recognized for it. How did that feel after everything you gave up in the religion?
You know, that is one of my most happiest moments, for real, because that first year of teaching, I was like, this is what I was supposed to be doing. I can't believe that I was doing anything else but this. And just the way it felt so natural. But I hadn't even finished my first year of teaching when I received Gold Star Teacher Award. So to receive that award was just the icing on the cake, because like no one had ever received that in their first year of teaching. It just does not happen. We've gotten people that, 12, 15 years that received that award.
I remember you calling me, telling me how excited you were about that award. And I just want you to tell our audience how many people at the Kingdom Hall probably saw you when you were getting that award and what they were probably saying, because please tell people how this award was televised.
Oh my gosh. So first of all, it's a big production, okay? Like it's a big deal. And they put it in the newspaper, of course. They do a news segment of it. So they actually come in and do this interview with your students.
She's just the best teacher ever. I love her. They should know that she's an awesome teacher.
And then they record you teaching. And then they interview you. And so there is a part where it was on the news of my students talking about me as a teacher. And then me, you could see me teaching, and then me talking about my love of teaching.
I said if I ever became a teacher, I would let them keep their curiosity. I would let them ask the most outlandish questions. I would let them do that so that they can just dream big.
And so, of course, witnesses love to watch the news. So that was definitely on there. Then I got to be in the parade. So we have our big UNI parade. The university puts on this huge parade. And so I got to ride in the back seat of a convertible up on the top, and so the whole town is there. So that is there. So it was no way you could not know about it. How about that? We all know who the teachers that receive it are. And so for me, it wasn't so much as look, it was I hope that one of you see that if you just go for your dreams and don't worry about what other people think and don't have that fear, that you can do this too. You can go and do the career, the job that you're supposed to have, or live the life that you're supposed to have without fear. So that was my hope, that someone saw that and kind of started questioning things.
The Watchtower doesn't want them to see those examples. And that's the reason why they carefully cherry pick who's going to be on the conventions and the assemblies, because they want your mind to be focused on pioneering and doing more for Watchtower. So for people to see you doing what you're doing, that is not part of their agenda. People are always told that if you leave Jehovah, and of course, Jehovah is synonymous with Watchtower, but can you share with our audience about what happened with Terrence when people would ride past the certain area in town, and what did they see sitting up on that billboard?
Yes, I sent you that picture too. It was the biggest billboard ever. That's the thing too. It wasn't even a small one. There's billboards here and there, but a picture of him going to his university. like just as big. And they put it up. This billboard was in like 8 different locations in our town. The billboard just kept moving to different locations in our town, or we go to the next town and then it would come back. Like it was so cool. It was just really cool. And it would be fun to get the phone call because we didn't know where it moved to. So someone would just like randomly call or text and be like, this, and they'll take a picture of it and tell us what street it's on.
Now, that is probably the best payback anybody could give. Hey, look, y'all, I didn't just leave the Watchtower, but I enrolled in college, and now they took a picture of me, and now I'm the face of the college. Come on to this college. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like, instead of you on crack, you're like, oh, I'm in college. Now, that was funny. I swear. So even after building your own life with Terrence and your children, your parents still choose to shun you. What has that been like emotionally? And how do you manage that as a mom yourself?
I think when you are leaving the organization, you're hoping that everything stays the same, even though you know it's not going to. So you're just trying to like navigate things where people still speak to you, but that you can leave. And I think the way we left, it was impossible for that to happen. And so because of that, they do exactly what they're instructed to do. And I know that being in it, that we shun, we don't speak to people. So I think the part of just like when it actually happens is the part that's very hard and very shocking. But we know it's going to happen. So I think emotionally, you're still trying to hold on to that. But I will say that just because it's been so many years, that time does heal all wounds. I know that's a phrase used a lot, but it really does, because yes, when it happens, it is very painful. But through the years, as you keep moving on and also being intentional about letting go, and then you're doing other things and you're building your own community, those feelings really do subside. It isn't as painful as it was when it first happened.
Yeah. I think what you said was so important about the part about being intentional. And then because you were already well aware that this was going to happen, it wasn't like it was a shock, because everybody knows that.
Right. I mean, that's the rules, basically, that you are not allowed to speak to apostates or those that have turned away from the faith. And so that is what we did. I know I did it with certain people. I can think of different people in my congregation that I knew became an apostate or disapproved of what the teachings were. And I didn't speak to them, mostly because of fear, of course. So in return, I had to accept that is what was going to happen.
By any chance, have they ever reached out to you since you've left, or have you had any contact with them at all?
Yes. But I just want to also make this clear too. We also put boundaries on it. So we told them that for our family, it would be best that we didn't have any interaction with them, because it causes confusion. There's no way that they're going to leave their religion, and I don't want them to. Some people, that's what they choose to do, and I think everybody should have a choice. But for our family, we know that it's hard to have a connection with those that are still in the organization. And so we also said that it'd be best if we just didn't blur the lines, and I think it's been helpful for both sides.
I like that perspective, that you set the boundaries. They're not the one that's controlling the narrative. Well, we've talked before, you and I, and we've, had discussions about the situation with the blood issue. So you had to face a serious medical situation with your daughter. What was going through your mind knowing how the organization feels about blood?
That night I remember it vividly, because after she was born, she was only 1 pound, 14 ounces. So the fact that her needing blood was it was going to happen. It was just very scary, because the elders were also there and they were talking to the doctor, who was not acknowledging their presence at all. And I just remember I want to say it was 3 a.m. he came in and he looked at me because I had been worried. I didn't really even get to speak to the doctor alone. You know what I'm saying? Because the hospital liaison committee was there. And so I just didn't have a time. Like there was no time for me and the doctor to talk. Even though he was looking directly at me to speak, they still would interject. So this was the time where he was like, I could finally talk to the mom and see what she wants. And I, to this day, greatly appreciate that. And so when he came in, I just looked at him and I said, I want you to save my baby's life. I felt that that was clear without saying the words, give her what she needs. But also he looked at me and understood completely. So that was a night where all of as I was growing up and thinking of the Watchtower of those who gave their life and refused blood. And I'm like, this is way harder than an article. This is something way hard. When you're in it, it's different than you're just saying, oh, I would never take blood. Like I would never take blood, but I'm thinking of my child here and I'm like, I want her to live. So all of that almost goes out the window because you're like, this doesn't even make any sense anymore. Why would I, if this is what's going to help her live, all she needs is just this. And my cousin's wife worked in the hospital and she told me the amount that they gave her. She was like, it literally was like a pinch drop. It was smaller than her nail. So she goes, they weren't like, of course they can't put that much blood, in a baby. But she's like, just to think that little bit saved her life and they were saying you couldn't. So, yeah.
And you know what? When you think about what you went through when you were dealing with that blood issue, were you already waking up to the truth about the truth, or was this just like a crack in the foundation?
I would say it was a crack. I think, again, I was still very much into the organization. Even a couple of years after that, it wasn't until we moved. So I was still having the guilt of saying those words to the doctor, but yet knowing like my baby's going to live. So, no, I won't say that I, at that moment was like, something is wrong. I got to get out of this. Unfortunately, it should have been. It should have been that moment. But I just thought like, you know what? I did what was right. And hopefully Jehovah will understand.
Did you know these brothers personally?
No, so we were in another city at the time. So it was a completely different group of men from our original congregation. So you are correct. Having people in there saying things, speaking for you, even mentioning things to the doctor that he could do. And that's so crazy to me because I know the job and professions that they come from, which has nothing to do with medical things at all. And so for them to feel comfortable and kind of like cocky a little bit to say like, well, you should try this. Did you think of this and this? And it's like, he's the doctor. I'm pretty sure he thought of all the things, because I was in that hospital for a while. So it wasn't like I just walked in. They were assessing me for a week before I had her. So they knew like if this happens, this is our next step. So for them to come in and like offer him all this medical advice and things that he could do is really kind of embarrassing.
And now how long has it been?
Oh my goodness. So now she last month turned 13 and just, I can't imagine life without her. She's like the perfect fit. She like keeps us all chill and she's very laid back. She's very artsy and crafty and like she's totally the opposite of me. But I love it because I'm learning from her, like just how to just let things be and patience. Like she's just a very incredible girl and I know she's going to be an amazing young woman.
So, you and Terrence used the same grind y'all once gave to pioneering cleaning homes to strategically fund your education. How did you flip that script and make it work in your favor?
The time that we gave towards pioneering, that literally transferred over to us going to school full time because not everybody's able to do that. But it just worked out because we cleaned at night and we went to school. And we ended up going to a college where we only had to do, it was a non-traditional for non-traditional students where we only had to be there twice a week. But we had the time because we're not going to the hall and we're not knocking on doors. It was very scary going to college because I felt like there was so much I didn't know. But then as you're in it, you realize there's so much everybody else doesn't know either. So I will say that our transferring over from pioneering and cleaning to going to college full time and still doing our cleaning jobs to get through that period, I'm really proud of us. I am. I can look back and be like, we did that. And we did it with 3 kids.
Rashana's choice to save her baby's life showed what it means to break free from control. But here's the part a lot of people overlook. Watchtower didn't just take our families. It tried to take our minds. They told us what to read, what to think, and what to ignore. In part 2, we're going to talk about the one thing they couldn't kill: curiosity. Because once you pick up a book, once you start learning for yourself, you realize freedom isn't just walking away, it's opening your mind. If you know someone who's struggling with life after leaving, share this video with them. Sometimes one story can spark the courage they need. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next episode.